Welcome to the Traders Clinic, your regular shot in the arm of trader insights, philosophy and knowledge, brought to you by two professional money managers, Ali Crooks and Charlie Burton.
In each episode, we cover all things from the world of trading and answer your burning trading questions.
We do indeed, and we're back.
We are.
What's today's subject?
Today's subject, you like this one. The one thing that you never get from trading.
Yeah, this is... there's the one thing you'll never get from trading is certainty. There is no certainty trading the markets. Doesn't matter how good you are as an analyst or as a following your plan, whatever it might be, there's never 100% certainty. We trade in probabilities, not certainties. And I think, so that's the one thing that you will never get from trading. Unfortunately, a lot of people get into trading and that's the very thing that they crave. They crave certainty. They want to know how much I'm going to make a month, how much I'm going to make a year. They're looking for certainty. And yet we need to embrace uncertainty. Embrace the fact that it doesn't matter what our system is that we're trading, and whatever its historical results are, or what our historical results are, that doesn't matter whether you've had a great year the year before. It's no guarantee, even when you've been trading 20 years, it's no guarantee that the following year is going to be a good year. And we've talked about this on old shows. 2018 is when I had my biggest drawdown, and for decades, and yet I was 2 decades into my trading at that stage in 2018, and yet then you go and have your biggest drawdown. Why? Well, it's just because of what the markets were doing at that time. And so there's no certainty in the market. And we have to embrace the fact that every trade that we go into, every week, every month is an unknown. All we can do is try and put the probabilities on our side, but always accept that there is no certainty of outcome for that one trade we're about to take next, or even the next several trades that we're going to take next. Over the bigger picture, yeah, we're trying to put probabilities on our side, but we always have to accept that anything can happen.
I love that. I really like the fact we're talking about this, because I think this is an undercurrent that is holding a lot of traders back, and they don't even realize it, that they're craving certainty. So I think if traders can do one thing is actually step back and go, in this moment, or when I'm analyzing a set of results, what am I trying to get from this? Am I craving certainty? Because it can mean that you put too much weight on your back testing because you're craving the certainty, like the results over the last 6 months show this. Oh, I feel better now. I've got some certainty. Well, you actually haven't, because going into the next 6 months, the results could be completely different. So I think traders are actually, especially newer traders, are craving this more. And actually, if this was a focus for them, as in, how can I embrace uncertainty even more, the phrase you used. But I sort of talk about it in a way like it's like a dance. You're doing a dance with the market, because a lot of people will fight the market. A lot of people will fear the market. And actually, by embracing it, you've got to understand that sometimes you'll feel like you're leading and and it's all flowing nicely and the results are in your favor. And then other times you might feel like you're stumbling along a bit and you're trying to do everything right, but the results aren't where you are. And it's being able to have the adaptability and understand that it's not always going to be going your way. And like you said, all of that time you've been a trader, and then you hit that point where you have your biggest drawdown. So I think there's this false idea that, well, once you've been trading 5 years or 10 years, that somehow you change as a human and you can predict every scenario in the market and your certainty rate goes up. But actually, or your ability to predict what happened goes up. But actually, all that happens is you're psychologically better equipped to deal with the inevitable uncertainty. You embrace it, and it becomes a natural process. And I think that's the biggest thing that shifts over the years. It's not your technical skill; it's your ability to deal with the inevitable ups and downs that are coming.
Yeah, laugh at it. And so I don't want to be too fickle, but yeah, you have to laugh in the face of the uncertainty that happens, because I'll take trades, and you will, I'm sure, at times, and in our core, we'll think, yeah, this looks like a sweet setup here, and it started to move. This looks pretty good. Yeah. You will, even after all the decades of trading,
yeah,
you will still look at an environment at times thinking, I think this is a sweet spot here, and then it doesn't. And you're like, oh, and you go and get stopped out or whatever, and you have to laugh it off because even I'll think, I won't think this is a guaranteed 100% trade, of course, but that's what a lot of people will think. But I'll still think, this looks more likely, but that's all it is, more likely. And then it comes back and you just have to laugh at it and say, well, embrace the uncertainty. Whereas some people will get hooked into a trade like that and think, oh, this is looking really good. And then when it comes back, it's really painful for them because they haven't embraced the uncertainty of outcome, that anything can happen. Doesn't matter how much into profit you're up, that it might still come back on a Donald Trump tweet or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then the pain is so great that they suffer with frustration. It might be anger, might be fear, all of those things. So again, the more that we embrace uncertainty of outcome, even when something's looking amazing, constantly just keep that modesty towards the markets, because the market is an absolute beast and it can move around at any time, and that things do change. Now, some of those trades, of course, those ones that start to build and we think this is looking pretty good, and they do get to your targets and stuff, but always respect the market, respect the fact that there is no 100% certainty, and that the market at times will do things that surprise you. And the more you're willing to embrace the fact that that will happen, shrug it off, move on to the next trade and the next day, the next week, then the better you are. Because if you're the person who gets frustrated, angry, then you're the same person who's then going to miss out on the next opportunities because you're still suffering from frustration and anger and you haven't got back in the game yet. So
yeah, I like that. I think you bring up an interesting point about shrugging off the trade that ends up losing. You were certain about it, and like you said, I'll still have trades where like I know I'm not 100% certain, but I feel more positive about this trade than maybe the one before. But I look at that and see that as a trap, and it's the ability to be able to, like you said, step back or laugh at it. But I think one of the things you've also got to do is look at how you behave when the market is going your way and you are winning. Because if you can step back and go, wow, I get too excited, I get too happy, and I link too many positive emotions to my winning trades, that's often a sign that when it isn't going for you, you're linking too much negativity the other way. So when it is going your way, you don't want to feel too certain either, because that's a trap of, oh, it's going to stay like this forever. No, you're going to go up and down. So it's I've seen it on videos. You see on TikTok. You see somebody getting so excited about a winning trade, and I'm like, if you're getting this excited about a winning trade, that tells me that you're far too addicted to that winning feeling. So the opposite is going to happen when you have a series of losers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So keep that in mind, folks.
Good.
Yeah. Nothing's certain in the markets.
So our question. At what point did you know that your trading was going well?
Oh, blimey. This requires memory. Extensive memory, because going back a long way. I certainly remember the point where I went from basically making no money to making money. And that was an interesting transition. So I'd gone from the usual losing money, making money initially, then losing money, then actually win-loss sort of thing, making money for a few months, then giving it back, making money for a few months, giving it back, that stage. And then, so what happened with me is that I realized what was happening is, and I've told this story many times, but my equity would go up as, I'd trade strictly. So I trade with rules and all of that.
Yeah.
And when I tightened up my rules and stuck to my rules, this is in my early 2 years or so, then I'd make money. And then what would happen is over a 2 or 3 months, because this was all swing trading on the side from my career at the time, then I'd become overconfident, and then I'd be like, oh, that looks like it's going to do this or that. And I'd start taking trades which didn't follow the rules. There was no plan towards them. I'd just start taking random trades. Then they would get stopped out. And then I'd gradually just give back the prior gains over the next month and then think, oh, better tighten up again. And so I followed my equity followed this this curve of just going up and down based on when I was trading really well, coming off the bottom of an equity trough, until I got overconfident again. The overconfidence was my Achilles heel. So at what point did I know that I was becoming profitable? What the question was.
Yeah, going well. I mean, you could look at that in lots of different ways.
Was once I embraced the fact that if I could keep that overconfidence in check, that greed side to my trading in check, and stay with the rules, maintain that discipline, what happened was my equity curve started gradually just breaking to new equity highs rather than being stuck in this sideways cycle. So that was the aha moment back probably 2.5 years into my trading, where I had that sense of, I can make money with this. It's not to say that you're not still going to have drawdowns and all of those sorts of things, but by having better discipline, that was the aha moment for me. And that was when I realized things were starting to go well.
Interesting. I like that. I think it's similar. I can remember a point in time, mine, because going well I'm assuming going well means you're making money. But for me, there was a period just before that, and it was when I stopped constantly looking over my shoulder at what other people were trading, other systems, other strategies. And I can't say that it was a moment in time. It was Wednesday that year and this month, but I can just remember just being less concerned about what other traders were trading and being happy with the system that I was trading. I don't remember at the time that it wasn't making me huge gains, but I was seeing that uptick that you're talking about, and I wasn't sort of looking over my shoulder going, well, they're using that with that, or they're using that indicator, or they're trading that market. I became much happier. I was like, I think things are going well because I feel confident in what I'm doing, and I'm embracing both sides of it. I'm embracing the winners and the losers, and my knee-jerk reaction isn't looking to adjust the principle and the plan, or add something in, or change the indicator, or change the system. I was like, no, I'm gonna sit with this because I've seen the potential on it through testing. I've delivered on that potential. I now just need to give it time and understand that there's going to be ups and downs through the process. Yeah, like you, it was probably maybe a little bit longer, 2.5, 3 years in, around that time, where I was like, no, I'm sticking with this, and I was embracing the losers as much as I was, hoping for the winners.
I still feel like it was then 4 years before you had the evidence that things were going well. Because although I may well have turned a corner 2.5 years in, but it was at the 4-year stage that I then had the evidence of that prior 18 months.
Exactly.
To actually say, well, look, there's the evidence there now, and it was 4.5 years that I ended up going full time.
I stopped sort of talking in the month. Oh yeah, how much did you make this? Oh, I made 5% this month. I found myself thinking about the year, and like you said, being the monthly return being less relevant, and it being about my overall performance rather than, oh yeah, I've had a good month, great. No, that's not what it's about. It was, but it's one thing. It's one thing saying that. It's another thing actually believing it and going, okay, I had a profitable month this month. Great. I had a losing month this month. That's by the by. It's where am I going to be in a year's time?
I just want to add one thing here on this subject, because the question itself is, at what point would you turned a corner? Or
at what point did you know your trading was going well?
Again, I think probably the person who's asking the question is asking for they're wanting certainty themselves, which we've just picked up on previously. But I forgot where I was going to go now with it. But certainly it comes back down to, you never know going forwards. Doesn't matter how well your trading is going now or over the last, we've already covered this, but over the last year or 2 years, 3 years or whatever, there's still no guarantee. We just have to embrace all aspects of trading. And so, yes, you can pick out key markers from your history, but for everyone, it's going to be different. For one person, the light bulb might have gone on 2 years into their trading. For another person, it might take 6 years. So it's not a timeline as to, well, what point is it going to work for me? And this is it. People are looking for that horrible, I hate the phrase, consistent profits. I hate that phrase because you hear that bandied around a lot of time, consistency. consistency should come from your approach to the market.
Exactly.
You don't have anyone who starts talking about consistent profits, then that raises a red flag to me, because there's no such thing as consistent profits, because every system that's out there is going to have purple patches and it's going to have not so much, red patches or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, consistent profits is something which I think people have to be very careful of thinking in that way, because it doesn't work that way. You're going to have periods over a longer period. You're going to have, you're going to be profitable, but over any shorter time duration, there may be periods where it's flat, it's frustrating. It might be in a drawdown, and then you still at the end of the year might have had a really good year, but you've had to go through all of that in order to get to the end of the year.
Yeah, I think going well, and I'm really glad you said that, because I would look at going well as, are you consistently following your plan? That would be the first marker that I would want to put in the ground.
Yeah.
Good.
And on that note, his name's Ali Crooks.
His name's Charlie Burton.
Trade safely out there.